This is Barb's ink pad, and it's Friday, it's 10 o'clock, and it's time for some card fun. I'm going to do some easy stamping today. Easy stamping, simple stamping. I'm all about simple stamping, in case you hadn't realized that already. I also have a tendency to be very monochromatic, but I think today I'm a little bit more colorful. Notice here I have some nice candies. Since I can't be with you, since I'm not with you in person, here's my little, little treat for Valentine's Day. So, pretend it's a Ghirardelli chocolate with caramel inside. Yum! I'm a caramel and chocolate fan. All right, the set I'm going to use today is this Let's Sail. I was kind of like, I don't want to say on the edge about this, on the fringes about this when I first saw it. I did like it, but then I was trying to figure out what to have, what to use with it and stuff like that. Then this is the bundle that comes. It's the punch, and I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can kind of do it, but I'm going to show you the best way I found, and that was after checking on. It's kind of a funky way to do it. I would rather with some things have, but since this is just 3 pieces, I would rather have the die cuts rather than unless it's a one thing punch. But I'm going to show you one of the best ways that I saw to use that punch. It's a builder punch because you're building it, because it's got the 2 sails and the ship. But I'll show you that in a minute. But I am going to show you all, and it's not just with this set. I'm going to show you some samples of some other cards using this fantastic paper, New Horizons paper. You can see I have other pieces cut. I've used it for other things. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can use it for so many things. You can use it as a background. You can see the one side is just very just kind of there, and sometimes you look at it and look at this. Even this looks kind of blurry. You could just kind of use it, but think of that. It's like mountains, and here is some water. There's so many things, and this particular one, it goes very well with one of the other sets that's in the thing. It's got the deer and the background, and all of a sudden I can't think of the name of it, but it goes amazing behind that. Let me see, I got my stuff over here, and let me grab it. One of these days I'm going to actually have everything over here that I actually want to use. Here is the amazing catalog. Yeah. Let me see, because there's one that you can see where they kind of use that paper behind there, but you can use it with a lot of things. Even with this, the windmill. Put the windmill in the middle of someplace out there. It's not this one. This one goes with the deer punch from the holiday catalog, or the June to December or July to December catalog. Now it's going to see, I'm going to give you a brief look through of the catalog, and it's brought to be at the end. Here's this paper. You can see you can make a little picture. You can make a little frame, divide it up. It's just too much fun. This is the one, the Grassy Grove bundle, and I think I may have shown that before. That may have been on my site. So see, you can use that paper behind there. You can use any one of the different ones. It's really, really kind of cool. And here is another one. You can just use. You can use it with a lot of things. So it's not just for that. And really, I think it's on a low right now in the thing. So if you haven't gotten it yet, grab up this paper. It's amazing. Let's set sail. Let's see, how are we going to set sail today? this is how we're going to set sail. This is the sample that I'm just going to kind of show you what I did, and it shows you how I did it. So see, here's a piece of the paper. All it was the punch, the sailboat, that, and some bling on there too. I mean, easy peasy, easy peasy. And I'll show you a couple of other samples when we get finished. But let's get rolling with this. I'm going to show you the bling is actually from the Garden Gems. That's what the Eden's Garden thing. But it's these up here, and they can almost go. And I can't remember the name of the colors that are there, but this sort of has blue tones. But this kind of picked up the Blackberry Bliss. So that's what I'm using today. I'm using Moonlight Madness. Oh God, it's like all of a sudden I can't. Misty Moonlight. Oh, Moonlight Madness. Isn't that a sale during the Christmas holidays? What can you say? Anyway, I'm using Moonlight Madness. Misty Moonlight. Oh, and Misty Moonlight is going to be disappearing. This is in the next catalog. It's going, because this was a 2022 in color. Then there's So Saffron, Blackberry Bliss, and then the paper. At first I just had the So Saffron and this on top of it, but I just like that little bit of Blackberry Bliss that just kind of pops it out just a little bit and just kind of brings it. Since this all just kind of gets all together here, originally I had this where I had embossed the paper, but with only 1/8 of an inch showing, it was really a waste of my time to do that. So, as you know, with this, I'm doing this, and let me put all these together so we see if I'm going to mess it up, because I'm going to get my glue, my white glue, my mono adhesive, because what'll happen is, because I'm only using 1/8 of an inch all the way around, I like that little bit of wiggle room, and I've been using this so much more lately that it isn't even funny. I just, if with a quarter of an inch all the way around, I feel like I have a little bit more. I don't really need to. I can be a little bit more, but with this, because one of the reasons is because y'all know when you use any of the tapes, like the tear and tape or the Stamp and Seal, once you put it down, it's down. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Did you get your coffee this morning already, Kathy? And hey, Kay, how are you? How's North Carolina? How's your weather? We're having, oh God, we have like spring-like weather, spring-like temperatures, sort of. It's going to be like in the 60s today, but that's okay. It'll change Sunday. We're supposed to have some kind of snow stumping. So they're saying it's not going to be too much, but living in this state, you never know. It's when they call for a lot of it that it never happens. So man, I actually got that on there pretty good. So, and then I'm going to just put this on here. So see, this is your usual, because the card base is your usual 5.5 by 8.5 and scored it 4 1/4. And then the first base is 4 by 5 1/4. There's my little 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And then the other ones are 1/4 of an inch smaller. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. So this is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and then this is, oh God, it's math. I'm not there this morning. Sorry about that. I'm not there. So now let's build our little, and I'm going to show you the best way that I got to punch out this baby, and it came out pretty. Warming up, here it will be 66 today. I think we're supposed to be in the 60s. Let me just check something here, and I'll tell you, because like right now it's 43. By 2 it's going to be 50, so maybe today and yet too early in the morning for math. This is true. I used to be good at math, but that was a long time ago. A long time ago in another place, but, you know, trying to do fractions and figure that out. But I did the card last week. I did get it on my blog, and I am going to try to be very good and get every card every week, at least on the blog, at least post once a week. And I did transfer over. I've got 3 on YouTube under Barb's InkPad. I've got 3 on YouTube. So the video I did last week is on YouTube, and then this one will go on. 54 now. Yeah, so we're a little bit behind right now. It's 45. So a little bit behind. It could be worse. I'm using this. This is a it's actually a mouse pad. It's one of my little things here, and I didn't do it quite right. But I don't know who loves Grogu, who's like the Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. But it just kind of helps you, it helps when you're stamping with clear stamps. So, now, let me get out my little pieces here. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. My boat. I was bad in math in school. Why do I spend most of my time? Count across stitch and yes. Yes. You're right, Kathy. That is very, very true. I haven't done any count across stitch for a long time. I've got a lot of it that I used to do. That used to be my passion, and then I got into this. Actually, one time, God, this was years, and this was back in the beginning of time with me for computers. And we had one, and they didn't have Facebook or any of the other kind of thing. You used to have to go on to bulletin boards. And does anybody remember that? Is anybody old enough to remember that? But bulletin boards, I think actually when my daughter was in college, we had to use, and that was, she graduated from college in 96. Yeah, she started in 92, graduated in 96. And I think I used to be able to communicate with her through like bulletin boards or do whatever, but we had the phone. So that was how it was. Okay, now, you see, this is how these things are, and this is how it's going to be going in here. It's really important to know that and know how they're in there so that when you go to put this in here, you're going to waste some paper with doing this. You could do it by stamping it all out, but it's a pain in the butt. And then putting it on the stamp, and it's just too complicated for me. I found this was the easiest way. So this is going to, when you stamp this, I am going to stamp it this way on the paper so that when I put it in here, I'll be able to stamp it out. I'm going to try to do it so that I'm wasting the least amount of paper. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Let's see. Now, yeah, I'm using this mouse pad too because when you're using the photopolymer stamps, it makes it easier when you're pressing down. You get a better impression. There's that, and then I got a little bit of that shadow one there, but I'm going to be cutting it out. And I'm doing these one at a time because it just makes it easier. There is another way to do it, and I can show you that too, and do it all at once. So then I'm going to just go in here. Now see, I'm going to go, and then you can get a really good image with this when you do it this way, and do it one at a time. So see, and if you ever need white sails, you got 2 white sails that come out. You can do that right, and you have 2 white sails. So there's my bottom boat, and it came out pretty good. So now I'm going to do the bigger sail, which is right here. So when you stamp it, I'm going to want to stamp it the way that it is in here, so that when you cut it out, that's the way you got it. So I'm doing both of these sails in the Poppy Parade. I used real red once before, but I kind of like the Poppy Parade with the sails and the way it stood out in here. So there's that. And then I make a mess. Woohoo, woohoo. So then I'm just going to go in here and kind of come up here. Now see, I did that a little bit wrong. I should have done it down here. I'll tell you what. That's what I'm going to do. I am going to do it down here, which makes it a little bit easier. See, figure out on your paper where it's going to fit in and do it before you stamp. But since this is going to be a wasted paper anyway, and I'm not going to do that. See, so then when I put that, there we go. And you're really, when you do it down the bottom there, you're really wasting a lot less paper. So now here is the other sail, and I'm going to actually put it on this other side of the paper. If I wouldn't have done that there, it would have been a little bit easier. So here is that other sail, and the other sail goes that way. So I'm going to be putting this along here. Maybe I'll get another white sail out of it. A white sail on a white boat. See? I messed up again. See, if I didn't plan it quite right, I am going to put it right down the bottom here. Wow, I'm showing you everything what not to do. Do you like what not to do? And ask me how I knew that? Okie doke, and we're going to cut this out right there. And that was a crappy piece of paper anyway. So there's my other sail. So now I've got my sailboat. Now, I can show you another way. Another way you can do this is, let me find a smaller piece. Yeah. A smaller piece of paper. Actually, okay. Another way you can do this, and I am going to tear. I don't like to do it. You can cut out your punch. You can make a cut, and you're going to be making a template. Now, this is the way the punch cuts out. So, let me see if this will work right. So this is going to go in that way. So another way you can do this, and I find this a little iffy, even with these being clear. I find this way being a little iffy because it doesn't quite, you can sometimes get it in there and sometimes not. See, that's okay, but it could be better. Let me see if I can get that up there. So you can stamp either any of your, stamp all your stuff in there and then punch it out. But I'm not the fan. Let's see. Even with this being clear, I would probably be better off doing it with a darker piece of paper. I am not great at this. This just does not work out well for me. So, but that's another way you can do it, and then you can stamp it up. I'll show you how that'll work. So see if I put that in there, you can get, but I wasn't quite as good. You'll be able to get those like in there, that. The other way would be is when you stamp it out, you can take, and you've got all your white pieces, you can just lay them on there. And this is a little messier. And you can get it like that. So those are some other ways, but like I said, I found, like looking, because like I said, I can get really confused with putting these on there, you know, doing these builder punches depending on how complicated they are. And that worked out, you know, that worked out the best for me, doing one at a time. It would be easy to cut, it's easy to fussy cut the red ones, the sails. I hate fussy cutting. Not a good one. But you're right, it would be easy to do that. This is probably one that would be easy to fussy cut, but I am not the best fussy cutter. It doesn't make it easy for me. All right, to put these on, I actually, and on this one, I just used some glue dots, but I think on this one, I am going to use my little, I am going to pop it up a little bit with my little mini dimensionals. Let me see if a little mini dimensional will fit up here. That's just, let me see. It's going to show a little bit, but that's okay. I don't think anybody who gets this card is going to sit there and say, oh my God, I saw your mini dimensional. Because they probably wouldn't even know that that's exactly what it was. So then I'm going to put this down here. And then I'm going to show you something else that's a little bit higher. There is another piece in here. And you're going to kind of wonder, this piece here, and what that does is it gives you this little shadow below the boat. So it's like the little shadow that the boat's on. So let me see. And what I did with that is I have this on here, and it's like a triangle. So the bottom of the triangle is at the bottom here. And I felt like this was too dark right to begin with, so I stamped off, oops, bang into that, stamped this right underneath of there. So there you go, you have your shadow on thing. So depending on which color, you know, like what background you have for that, it may or may not. You know, you can use whatever color you want, but since the water here was sort of like a misty moonlight, did I get that one right this time? Yes, misty moonlight. And I popped the sails up with the dimensionals. And this is the back sail. So I have this and kind of, you know, going over there to sort of touch that. I've seen different ways to put the sails on. And you're going to want them to touch the mast. I've seen it where it's kind of like this. I am not a sailboat person, so I wouldn't know like what's right and what's wrong. So there's your boat. Easy peasy. And then I am going to use the Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to use the Before I used Let Your, The Adventure Awaits. And on this one, I think I'm going to use, put these away. This one, I am going to go Let Your Dreams Set Sail. Use that up here with that. And you've got like a nice little place up in here. You can stamp it on another piece, and you stamp that piece first. So you do this. I haven't had any issue with that lining that up, with the photopolymer. So that's worked well for me. So you have this up here. If you want to stamp it on something else and punch it out or die cut it with something. But I thought this is a simple card, so the less you have to do. So just let your dreams sail. And then, where's my little things? Then I've got my amazing... I don't have anything. I've got these right here. Let's see. Right. So just some, just a couple little of these. I love these. These are so pretty, and I just love the way they sort of shine. Da-da-da-da. Should have brought my Picket tool over. Just like that. And there you go. On the inside, I would put a piece of white. Cut that out and put a piece of white in there with it and stamp something. I would stamp, because they have the, you got birds there. You could stamp some birds on here if you want. And you could stamp, the sailboat, or you can find something else to stamp. It would work out well. Anyway, so that's that. And let me show you a couple of other things. I put a couple of birds, while you're at it. All right, let's see. Let me get a couple of the birds. The birds are going to be Misty Moonlight. They're sailing down by the water. There you go. And a couple up in here. There you go. Couple little birds on there. Woohoo! So many sets, it seems like, in the January to June catalog. So many have like a lot of the birds flying. Oh. So you have if you've got a bunch of different sets, you can just check out what they have there. All right, here's another one I did. I did this one. This was the one I was going to demo, but it was just too blah for me. There's another one, and it looks almost stormy. And this is using the layering dioramas to cut out the Hope It's Your Best Day Ever. It's just something a little bit different in there. I was not kidding. And then what you can do, and I've seen this done, this does not use that set. It just uses sayings in the Celebrating You, which is amazing. You've got that. You take one piece and you cut it in, or you can cut it into 4 pieces. You can take your 6x6 and cut it into 3x3s, and this is what you can get. Now here, one side, I used one side of the paper and another side of the paper, and then just used either the Night of Navy or the Pear Pizzazz, and I used, this is the Beehive, the Hive embossing folder, and I did it one way and then the other. Simple. And then just used like either the Night of Navy or the Pear Pizzazz and blinged it up. Simple. So you have, you can do a set of these cards, easy peasy. So like I said, this is 3 by 3, and this is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. It's just enough of a little layer to give it to let it back out. So that's your easy peasy. That's your easy peasy stamping, simple stamping for the day. I mean, it's really, really cool. But there are so many things, and like I said, so many different backgrounds. Just take and cut it, turn it over, bling it. I'm trying to think if this was all the same, because I tried to do, these are one side, this is another. So you can take one piece, 4 pieces, 4 cards. Bingo. And you've got it done. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. And I will be back. This will be on YouTube at some time over the weekend, before Saturday, the end of Saturday. It will be there. So I hope you enjoyed that. Have a good weekend. It's Valentine's weekend and Super Bowl weekend, and everybody enjoy. Have a good one. Stay cool. Bye-bye.